If you fly a drone, then you may be aware of what remote ID is. And you may be thinking that I don't want to put remote ID on my drone. Well, I have some options that may be of interest to you if you don't want to f around with this remote ID nonsense. I think the first most obvious answer is to simply just not put remote ID on your drone. It's probably the simplest answer, and I think you would be fine to not do that. Now, if you fly like a camera drone, like a DJI drone or something like that, I'm not really sure if there's an option for you to not have remote ID, so I'm really talking about drones that you build yourself, FPV drones. I don't think the FAA is ever really gonna enforce any of this. They keep pushing the date back. I don't even know what's going on with it, to be honest. And honestly, I don't really care. If you've ever gone out and flown a drone by yourself with your goggles on, you've already broken FAA regulations. And furthermore, if you're willing to continue to go out, fly your drone without a spotter, and you put remote ID on your drone, it's gonna be probably a little bit easier for them to track you down. Also, if you don't put it on your drone, they're not gonna know if you have it on your drone or not. And as long as you're not an idiot, then you shouldn't really have a problem. Now, I should probably put a little bit of a disclaimer here. I'm not a lawyer, nor do I have any ability to give you actual legal advice. Nor should you listen to people on the internet for making your decisions anyway. These are just things that I'm saying as an entertainer on the internet. So you make your own choices. And if you choose to listen to my advice, that's not my problem. That's your problem. Let's say that you're a little apprehensive about not following the rules. Let's say you've always just been somebody who has to follow the rules. Well, I have a few options for you. If there's nothing else that you can do and you're like, God damn it, I gotta put this shit on my drone. Well, the first thing that you can do is simply just fly all your drones in Mexico, you know? And if anyone asks about flight footage you've posted or anything, just be like, oh, I was in Mexico. All right, so maybe you're thinking, I'm not going to Mexico. Why would I go to Mexico? That's ridiculous. I don't think you understand what I'm saying. Fly your drones in Mexico. All right, if you don't get it, whatever. Let's say you're like, I'm not going to Mexico. Or maybe you're racist, you know, whatever. Well, fuck you. I have only really one other option for you. Can you see me? Can you see me right now? Is this a good spot? Is this a good spot? Well, I think that the last option, the last feasible, realistic option is to simply only fly drones that weigh less than 250 grams and don't have a Part 107. So this is for anybody without a Part 107. This is hobbyists only. The government has this super arbitrary weight limit on drones. So if you have a drone that weighs less than 250 grams, legally you don't have to register it. And when remote ID gets enacted, if it does, then you don't have to put remote ID on that drone. The thing that I find really cool about these little tiny whoops is that you can basically fly them in places where you normally wouldn't be able to fly a heavier drone because they're harmless. They weigh nothing. The most damage it's going to do is grind up your hair, which actually happened to me yesterday. Ah, fuck. Maybe that tiny whip is just like a little too small for you. Maybe you're just thinking, nah, too small. I want something bigger, but it's gotta be under 250 grams. There you go. It's a little 3.5 inch. And this one's the Granderino. I hope it flies though, because I haven't tested it. And is this under 250 grams? I don't know, it's a good question. That's irrelevant anyway, because my radio link isn't binding. I don't know what's going on here. I gotta take this back and try to fix it. All right, so the good news is that I've fixed the Granderino, and it's also nice out, but it might rain later. Definitely gonna rain. I can feel it. I can feel it. The wind is getting there. So I'm just gonna do this really quick because I have to. I have to prove a point to myself. or to everyone. I just have to. It's part of the thing. It's part of the whole thing. I gotta do it.
I don't wanna see you. I don't wanna see you with I can't go back in time, 'cause I'll see you. I can't just say goodbye, 'cause I'll see you.
The corgi's getting a little anxious. She doesn't really like drones, so we gotta get out of here. Lightweight drones that aren't loud and terrifying. I mean, this one still kind of sounds a little scary, but it's not as scary as like a 5-inch. So they're good. It's good. It's a good thing. It's a good thing to have.